Wayne Rooney, who, by the way, I'm glad that, it's a shame that obviously managerial career didn't work out for him. But what he is, he's a bloody good pundit, Wayne Rooney. I very much enjoy his analysis, his punditry. He's not scared at all of saying what he thinks. His podcast is very good. I would recommend listening to that because he's very honest. And in, I guess, his latest podcast, he was asked about Marcus Rashford's comments about the consistent environment. And obviously there was a lot of chat about that. I know Roy Keane had his say on that. I did hear him actually say that on ITV, and he basically said the same thing as us, Roy Keane, of, all right, yeah, fair, but also you have a responsibility in yourself to kind of, Marcus Rashford's a senior player, basically. Exactly. So you're helping set the tone of the environment, right? But Wayne Rooney said about Marcus Rashford's comments, he said, quote, I think the environment hasn't been ideal, but that's also your responsibility. If you don't play well or you're put on the bench, it's easier to blame the environment, whether justified or not. It all depends on how you get involved. We know he can do more, that he can run more, and that has nothing to do with the environment. I might be wrong. I like Marcus a lot as a person, but I think it's too easy to hide behind that argument, which effectively was what Roy Keane was saying, going, all right, environment's not great, but environment doesn't stop you, running or jogging or your body language or this, that, and the other, right?
Doesn't stop your base level, does it? Or it shouldn't.
Exactly. And I think that's a very fair comment there from Wayne Rooney going, absolutely, it's not to diminish, the environment's a problem at Manchester United, 1,000,000%, absolutely. But it's not a full explanation or rationale. You've got to have your favorite word, Flex, accountability, for your own actions, like that word. Your own performances. It can also be your fault as well, right? You hold a part to blame in this. I thought that's quite interesting for Rooney to say that.
Yeah, I agree. And it's fair. I think there's a lot said where, because Marcus is doing well now and other players that leave, obviously it's all Man United's fault. And we have that honest conversation about that, it can't just be by chance that when you go into a more stable environment, better built squads, your confidence is up, you're playing with players who are all on the same wavelength and the manager's a good manager and everything's working, you will play better. You will be more inclined to get better results out of yourself. But you still have to take care of your own situation, like your base level. Don't get me wrong, if the tactics aren't really working, which is limiting how much you score, how many shots you get per games, how many chances you get, how much times you get to run in behind because the ball doesn't come, that's fine. That's where you go, manager, you're not getting enough starts because the manager always plays this guy instead of, I get that. But your base level of application of your own consistency, that's turning up to training regularly, properly on time, training with intensity, playing with intensity, especially playing like it means more to you because you're an academy kid as well. Like there's all these things that you are in control of that, which by his own admission, Marcus has said, I need to get more consistent. I haven't been consistent. So, I think he does say a bit of both, but it seems like he's petitioning a bit more percentage of blame towards it's been an unstable environment, really difficult there. Because someone like Bruno has managed to keep his levels high. Dalot, even though he plays, that's what I'm saying. We'll criticize ability and like your end product, but no one ever says Dalot doesn't try. Bad professional.
Well, I was thinking of the example, obviously we played Liverpool at the weekend. I mean, I'm sure Steven Gerrard during his career will go like, I played in some really shitty Liverpool teams, and played for some not great coaches at some not great times. I don't think he could ever fault his, work rate or his output or anything like that, right? So, yeah, obviously it plays a part, and playing with, lesser players and maybe not so great players absolutely plays a part. But I think it's like with all of these things, and it doesn't really please a lot of people, but it's a combination of both, isn't it? We always say it. It's not a black and white thing. It's shades of grey. It always is. And I do feel for Rashford because he can't do an interview without someone asking him about Man United. Yeah. And then it turns into a thing that we're still talking about. So I do. And that's why he needed to go to Barca, because it's just too much. It's just too much.
Well, and looking at his own quotes of Rashford, I just had them. Oh, where are they gone now? Let me go back one. Look, when you see the quotes that he said of what Barca has done or him going there, I can see why. Like, I know that, listen, don't get me wrong. I know that, like, the accountability side of it, but it is the other side of it whereby you can see why he is playing the way he is. He says, I'm happy to be Barca's top scorer and assister right now, but I know I can still do better. I haven't reached my limit yet, though I'm getting close to it. He also says, he said, I believe England will see the best. That's more England, I suppose. He says, joining Barca has given me new energy, a new style, and a new country to explore. I feel the team fits me perfectly and I can help them a lot. It's a great step and I'm optimistic about the future. Moving to Barcelona refreshed me. I'm in a good place, but I know I haven't reached my full potential. After a tough season, I needed that reset to find my best version again. I love football. In hard times, I remind myself of that little boy who first played football just because he wanted to. That's why we endure tough training, discipline, and pressure. It's the reason why. It's the reason we love the game. Now, I know, again, if you're on the other side where you're like, oh, whatever, spare me. Why didn't you think about little boy who once played football when you were walking around Old Trafford or walking around St James's Park, or that game, infamous game at Luton, where you let Ross Barkley just do 2 pirouettes around you, not even try. You know, these little things that everybody picked up on. But essentially, I do get what he's saying. I do get. Yeah, that's why we all said he had to leave. He got to leave to get out of this.
Yeah, to be fair, I watched the interview because it was on before the England game in the week, and I didn't think it was a bad interview at all. I thought he spoke pretty well.
He has got some bad ones.
Yeah, I spoke pretty honestly, and like he said, and he wasn't like either gloating about the top scorer thing. That was actually in a question that was brought up to him. Gabriel Clark went, who's Barcelona's top goal scorer this season? And he was like, I think it's me. But then he also did sort of go, yeah, but it's also a really long season. You know what I mean? We're in October, you know, okay, top. What does that mean? Top, that means you've had a good start, right? So, I think this part of the international break probably been quite a good case study, like I said, for why it was good for Rashford to move on, because if he was at United at the moment and he did an interview like that, it'd be such a thing. And even he actually, this was quite funny. I'm surprised this actually didn't get brought up more. In the same interview, he was asked, if you were still at United, would you be playing for England? And he went, no, because I wouldn't be playing. He literally went, no. He went, no, I wouldn't be playing. And he laughed when he said it, but it's completely true.
It's true.
I mean, he was
can't get angry at him for that.
He couldn't even train at Man United.
Yeah.
so of course he wouldn't be playing for England at the moment, right? But I when I saw that, I thought, that's going to be a thing, and I was surprised it wasn't. But there's no lie.
But it's because there isn't a thing. Like even if you tried to spin that one, even the tabloids like, probably best not to run that one because
he wouldn't be playing for England because he wasn't playing for United. So of course he wouldn't be playing.
And as soon as he went to Villa, he got back in the team.
Yeah, so. Yeah, but I'll be glad, when this, the international break's now over, focusing on club football, we won't have to, talk about that or anything like that moving forward. But, you did mention yesterday, we saw, Man United released some pictures, didn't they, of the players arriving back at Carrington. Leacher was there. He's not going to be involved at the weekend.
No, of course.
He's not going to be involved.